Welcome everybody to the Facebook Live. I'm so excited to have my good friend Pete Vargas here. Pete Vargas is known as the Stage Whisperer. So if you've ever thought, man, maybe I should start getting on stage, maybe I should talk in front of people, or maybe my business would help if I was on stages, this is the guy to know. So I'm excited because he's gotten over 25,000 stages booked through his company. So he works with people like Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, Michael Hyatt, Shailene Johnson, like some of the biggest names that are out there. So I'm excited for him to be here, for him to help you guys learn a little bit of the basics of stages, but also at the same time be able to get on stages, how to reach out to people, why you want to work on stages, and how it could double or triple your revenue in your business. So Pete, I'm excited to have you, man.
Man, I'm excited to be here with this crew today. So
yeah, I'm excited too. So if you just real quick, everybody down below, comment if you're interested in getting on stages, or if public speaking has been something that's kind of, on your heart and something that you want to get better at and want to go out and actually impact people. Comment down below, let us know. And the first thing is I want to talk to you about that. I know that you're really good at getting people on stages, but why do you feel like it's important for people to share their message from stage? But then also, is there a way that could help somebody's business?
yeah, great question. So listen, one of the things that everybody that's watching, I can say this confidently is they have a message or a story, life experiences, a business, and so they have something in them that they have a responsibility to get out into the world to make a difference in the world. Like, same with you, bro. When I think about Rob, I'm like, Rob has something big to take to this world. And so why stages? Well, stages have literally been around longer than any other marketing medium. They have been around longer than all social media platforms. You think about everything that's come and gone over the last 2,000 years.
Yeah.
People were building their businesses, their movements, their ministries 2,000 years ago from stage to stage. Yeah. That's how they attracted or built their business. And
I've never thought about that. That's pretty crazy.
2,000 years later, they're still here.
Yeah.
Meaning, I want people to think for a minute. Somebody yesterday told me, I thought about Periscope. I used to attract customers on Periscope. Well, Periscope to her is now part of the marketing medium graveyard. Meaning, a lot of marketing mediums are good for a season. Some of them are longer. Mm-hmm. Like Facebook's been around for a long time. It's probably not going anywhere. But is it going to be here 40, 50 years from now? I don't know. Yeah. But I promise you stages will be. Mm-hmm. So there's the predictability that they're not going anywhere. The other thing is that they're the fastest way to grow your business, because people in a noisy online world put content out, and you have an incredible following because of the incredible content you put out. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that are trying to get folks' attention, and literally imagine being on a stage for 15, 30, 45, or 60 minutes, and you've got a captive audience. And in 1 hour, you can get your genius, your message, your story in front of them. And if you put that same hour of content online, it might take people years to consume that content. I had one of the biggest online marketers tell me, holy cow, if I can get someone to consume an hour of my content over the course of the year, I win. And I'm like, dude, I can get that done in 1 hour. Yeah. And so it's the fastest way to grow your business, because in 1 hour, it compresses the entire sales cycle, Rob. So that's the reason why they're predictable and they're the fastest way to grow your business.
So give me an idea, someone's out there. I know we have two different types of people, I would say, right?
Yeah.
There's people that actually maybe three, let's say three, people that do want to actually be a professional public speaker, which you can help, but it's not just for those people. So there's that person. There's person number two who is in the middle of starting a business, or they're about to start a business. And there's person number three who might have a brick and mortar, maybe they're a financial advisor or something like that. Can stages help all three of these people? And if so, how does it help all those people and bring the revenue up?
Yeah, dude. So a good friend of mine, and I'm going to quote this for everybody that's here today. I'm going to quote this. A good friend of mine, Roland Frazier, wrote a long post online, and he said, listen, in order to have customers, in order to maintain your business, you have to have customers in your business. And I'll get to all three here in just 1 second. And he said, so that means you've got to be thinking about short game. And he said, here's the 5 things that I would do to generate an extra $10,000 to $50,000 a month in short game revenues. And it's a 2,000 word post. He said, number 1, speaking. He didn't say professional speaking, public speaking. He said speaking. Whether you're keynoting for cash or you're speaking with the intent of selling something from the stage, I've not found a safer, faster, easier, low, no cost way to generate anything from a few $1,000s to well over 7 figures in 30 to 90 minutes. It's pretty easy. You create a talk about something you love and you share it with people who have similar interests.
For sure.
He said, if I had no money and no contacts, this is the vehicle I would choose to create a substantial income from scratch. So
and this
first,
isn't like an unsuccessful guy. Roland Fraser's ridiculously successful.
That's what I forgot to mention. 24, he's been a part of 24 7 to 9 figure exits.
It's crazy.
And this is the guy, exits.
Not businesses.
Not businesses, exits. This is a guy who's saying to bucket number 1, if you're just starting a business, this is what he would do. Success leaves clues. It's what Tony Robbins did. It's what JJ Virgin did. It's what Steve Jobs did. It's even Warren Buffett got professional training in it. Yep. So what I want you to know is success leaves clues. So if you're starting your business, don't get caught up in all the bright, shiny object. This is the way to go. For the professional speaker, a lot of people, that's a misconception. When I speak about speaking or stages, I'm not just talking to the professional speaker, but we help a lot of professional speakers. Here's what I would say to the professional speaker. I want a couple of things to happen for you. I either want your keynote fee to go up a whole lot, which there's ways to make that happen.
Right.
Me, John Rulin, Hal Elrod, literally from $0 to $25,000 keynote in a few years. I'm the one that does not have a book.
Yeah.
So that's nice because that's a lot of money. But listen, I even want to take it one step further for all of you professional speakers. Let's create something in your business that allows you to not have to live on the road. So let's do 2 things. Let's increase your fees, which we know how to do. Like, dude, I just booked a $200,000 speaking fee. Like most people who are out in the keynote world have never done that. I booked a $2,000 speaking fee for a client of ours. It's right now in the kind of final negotiations. So let's rate.
So people know what it is. If they have no idea what a keynote is, speaker fee, all that stuff. One of your clients is getting paid $200,000 to speak.
1 hour. For 1 hour. 1 hour. And so let's raise your fees and let's create something that you can have that's not just a book that allows you to scale your speaking. So Hal Elrod, who's a good friend of ours, he was getting his fees and his fees were raising, but he didn't have the second part of that equation. And he said, Pete, for 5 years, I've been talking about building this digital course and I just haven't done it and it seems overwhelming. I said, what if I could break it down to you really easy? And literally in one day, Rob, we shot his digital course. And now thousands of people have purchased that digital course. And now his fees haven't just gone up. He's got something that he doesn't have to be on the stage on.
Right.
So that's what I would say to that bucket. And then the third bucket, dude, that's a wheelhouse for us. Marketing agencies, technology agencies, IT service providers, financial advisors, anybody in a service-based business. There are local stages in your backyard, millions of them all across just the US and all across the world. There are local stages in your backyard. And here's what I will tell you. If you become the go-to content provider, i.e. speaker, you're no longer the one at the networking events kind of like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? How you doing? You're the one on the stage that literally now becomes the go-to service provider in your industry because they see you on the stage and not down in the networking side.
That's authority for sure.
Dude, the number one of the top, maybe not one, but one of the top 3 people that we've seen are service-based providers coming into our world because they're like, oh, I don't even have to leave my local city and I can go be on local stages and make an impact. Because Rob, here's the reality. All 3 of these buckets, there's 8 types of physical stages and 8 types of digital stages that they can be on. And so there's some type of stage for every single one of them. And, you know, there's 16 different types of stages. And all you need is a couple of those to make a significant impact in your business.
It's awesome. So if you guys are loving this, comment down below. Also, if you guys are interested in, Pete actually has a 4-part video series that he's giving for free. Normally charges a lot of money for it, but he's giving it for free over the next couple of weeks. Comment the word stage down below. Just comment the word stage down below. We'll send you a message directly to your Facebook Messenger inbox right now with the secret link so that you can get that for free. And so I'm curious with you. So what you said is that instead of being the person that's networking, you're up on the stage. And so what I think that people don't realize is that if you have a normal business, like a traditional business, we'll call it, right? You are thinking about how to advertise. You're thinking, all right, maybe what I'll do is I'll buy a billboard. Maybe I'll go and I'll put my face in a newspaper or a magazine. And they think that that somehow builds some authority, but all that really shows is that they're able to pay enough money to get into a magazine. But if you're up on stage and you're speaking, that automatically builds authority, and authority builds trust, and trust makes people buy, right? So do you see is there a huge connection between that and the way that you see your customers and their, your clients and the amount of money they get from speaking on a stage at a local networking group or something?
Well, so at a local event, they're not going to pay a lot of money because they don't have budgets. But watch this. Somebody the other day is like, are you serious? So they're like, give us an example of a plumber. Like, okay, that's a tough one, right?
Right.
So there are Facebook groups in Colorado Springs that have all moms in them. Mm. And now all of a sudden, that's one of the online stages is lives. Just like we're live today, that's one of the stages is a live.
Thousands of people will see this.
Dude, so you go and give them the 4 ways to avoid, plumbing issues in your home. 4 things you can do to create, to make sure you don't have plumbing issues in your home. Like right now, I have a plumbing issue in my home. If my wife had some framework of 4 things to make sure that she can check and she learned that from somebody, who's going to become the authority who we call when we can't fix it, which, by the way, will be the majority of the time. But if you provide value, even a plumber can get on a live, and now all those women, as he does a great job or she does a great job in that group, see that person as the go-to plumber. Like, think about that. That positions you as an authority by giving content and value. And here's the thing. All of you watching have content. You've got a message. You've got value. And now I'm just encouraging you to take it to stages because it's the fastest way to grow your business.
So what is the reason, and I know your story, but I know there's a lot of people that don't know your story, but what's the reason why you're so passionate about getting people on stage? Because I think it's super important to realize that, we might get nervous before we get up on a stage, but what we really need to focus on is the people that we're impacting. And your life was massively impacted, which then turned into millions of others' lives being impacted. But for everybody who doesn't know your story, tell us real quick of kind of how you got to where you are and why you're so passionate about it. Because I love your story.
Yeah, man. So I was I grew up with an extremely abusive dad, really abusive dad. My grandmother took me away from him in 6th grade because of the things that he was doing to me, and no things no kid should go through. And so I went to live with her, and he came back into my life in my teenage years, and we tried everything to get him to just say he was sorry and to make things right with me, and nothing worked. So I kind of went off to college thinking I'm never going to have a relationship with my dad. I went to college thinking that I wanted to be Jerry Maguire because I thought, what if I could represent athletes that are making a difference in the world? Because a couple of athletes had changed my life when I was a teenager after coming to live with my dad. I thought, what if I could represent athletes? Well, I found out you had to go to law school. I'm like, I'm not doing that job. But here's the irony in it. It wasn't athletes that were on my heart. It was messengers like Rob Dial and this entire community that's watching this live today. That's who I didn't realize I was actually going to be representing. And so I got a business degree, and I thought, and still don't have a relationship with my dad, and thought, okay, I'm going to Dallas. I got a great job. I'm like kind of living in a place that my dad's never been. Like, I'm more successful than my dad. Awesome. And then I got a call from my pastor in Texas, and he said, we want you to come over and take over as youth pastor. I'm like, what's the pay? And he's like, $18,000. I'm like, after taxes, that's like $50 a week. Okay. 80,000, 18,000. It was like, and then I said, why do you want me there? And he said, because our youth group is declining, and I know you'll love on the kids. And so I said, I don't know why, but I picked that. And my first Wednesday night, there were 3 kids there, Jory, Stacy, and Mackenzie. And I looked at those girls and I said, girls, and I was subconscious. I was like, didn't want to speak because I was extremely overweight. I was very self-critical of myself. And so I thought, well, I can bring in other speakers to speak then. And I can be like the cheerleader. And I told those 3 girls, I said, girls, we're going to build this youth group up again. and we are going to bring in powerful speakers. And I need you to get kids here to listen to them, because I think that's what will grow our youth group. And they got behind me. And literally one speaker after another for 4 consecutive years, I would bring in a financial advisor. And by the way, my parents would be sitting in the crowd. This is just to plant seeds for people to see the power of this methodology. There'd be people sitting in the crowd, parents in the crowd, and they would end up working with that financial advisor, because that financial advisor was teaching my kids how to save, how to give, how to prepare for life in the future. Like, that's an amazing thing to take to a 14, 15, 16-year-old. Well, the parents are sitting there saying, man, I need to work with her. Lots of my parents worked with her because of hearing her on a stage. But my kids heard the message. And then I'd bring in a CEO, and I'd bring in a Harlem Globetrotter, and I'd bring in a stay-at-home mom, and a stay-at-home dad, and I'd bring in a couple, and I'd bring in an artist, and I'd bring in a musician, and I'd bring in a health and wellness expert. And in 4 short years, every time I brought in a speaker, my youth group grew in numbers. And every time your audience, Rob, gets on a stage, their business will grow. Period. It's very representative of the fact that my youth group was growing because of the speaker. Your business will grow because of you being on the stage. Well, it grew so much. It grew from 3 kids to 800 kids in 4 short years in a town of 15,000. 800 kids coming on a Wednesday night. And when it was time to figure out where are we going to put these kids, I had to go to the church board to say, how do we raise the money for this? And I said, oh, by the way, I took it to the board and said, I want to build this $1 million youth facility. And our kids had already raised tens of thousands of dollars because of the speakers that they had heard talk about being givers and not takers. Wow. My board voted unanimously to build this $1 million youth facility. Wow. One of the speakers that came in, his daughter was the first girl killed at Columbine. She left her dad with 6 diaries and a paper called My Ethics, My Codes of Life. He was the best kept secret, which a lot of people listening today, that resonates with you. You feel like the best kept secret. Hal Elrod told me 10 years ago he felt like the best kept secret. And now all of a sudden this message of Miracle Morning came out of him, and he's no longer the best kept secret. That's what Daryl felt like. And one of my mentors said, dude, he's struggling to get out there, but man, you got to have him in your community because he is powerful. Nobody's going to know him in your town, but you got to have him. So I brought him in. And that morning, at the end of the presentation in Hereford High School, he said, there's 5 people in your life that I want you to go tell them how much you love them. Because on April 20th, 1999, I had no idea that was going to be the last day I saw my daughter. And you don't know the last days that you have here on this earth. And so I thought about the people I loved a lot. My wife, my best friend, some of the pastors on staff. And then he gave that little convicting thing. He said, and some of them you're not in good standings with. I'm 23 years old, but I'm acting though as I'm the 8-year-old, 9-year-old boy again, saying, no, my dad should be telling me he loves me. He hadn't said he is sorry. And I begged my dad to come back to the night event that night. And Daryl challenged the parents at the night, just like he challenged the kids during the day. He said, you have no idea how long your kids are going to be here with you on this earth. You need to tell them you love them, and some of you need to ask them for forgiveness. And a few weeks later, my dad sent me a letter in the mail, and he said, I'm sorry for the father I've been. Here my son is having an impact on hundreds of kids' lives, and I can't have an impact on my only son's life. I'm asking you for a second chance to do things right. And he told me he loved me for the first time that I can remember. That little boy was weeping in his 23-year-old body with my wife right there. And subconsciously, Rob, I thought that was the day that I dedicated my life to stages, subconsciously, because the thought that went through my mind, not consciously, subconsciously, I thought 1 hour on a stage, that's the power that people with a message and a story can do to transform somebody's life. Yes, the money is incredible, but the impact to me is greater and it's longer lasting than the money. And I thought, I'm going to call him. And I called him and I said, Daryl, you might not remember me, but this is what happened in my community. And this is what happened with my dad. Why aren't you getting that message out on a bigger scale? And he said, I'm trying a lot of things. I'm trying this and I'm trying this and I'm trying this. This sounds familiar, Rob, right? We're trying all this bright, shiny object stuff in our businesses. He was doing the same. And I said, Daryl, get on one stage with your ideal buyers listening. Provide value. You never have to sound salesy. Provide your truth, your value, your content, and watch how these educators will go deeper with you. He wanted to change the educational system because that's where his daughter was killed. He wanted to create a positive culture where kids weren't shooting kids and kids weren't taking their lives anymore.
Yeah.
And he knew he had the message for it. He just didn't have the customers or the audience. And I said, go do that. And he goes, will you go do it for me? I said, I'm a full-time youth pastor. He goes, is there any time you can figure? I can't pay you anything. You'll be my outsourced marketing arm. I'll pay you commissions. Yeah. And I had this big $18,000 salary, so I was good. And I said, I'll give it a shot. And this whole methodology, this whole workshop, 17 years later that you're talking about today, was from that day. For 13 years, I perfected this methodology, but it started with him. And I called and I emailed and I shot messages and I won him a stage. It was a physical stage. And it was his first stage with 400 educators in it. And this one man delivered a message to those 400 educators. Cannot make an offer. Most stages you can't make an offer. And in 1 hour, 350 of them gave him back their contact information and wanted him, meaning me, to follow up with them because he gave them a free gift.
Wow.
Now, let me give you some context. My mentor told me this is a guy that felt like the best kept secret because he had went from $150,000 in 2002, Rob, to $50,000 in 2003. He was going the wrong way and people didn't know who he was. And literally this one stage that he was on generated in the next 2 weeks 5 times the amount of revenues that he had done the last 12 months in his business. One stage brought his message to life and began to propel him to now today impacting millions of kids' lives. Seeing a teen suicide prevented daily, seeing a school shooting prevented monthly. And you might say, what about the revenues? From 50,000 when we were working with him, we took him to a peak of just shy of $7 million with stages being the number one way that he brought more business, which allowed him to have more impact. That's why I care about stages, dude. That's when it got conscious for me. The subconscious after that first stage is like, oh, this can be duplicated for anybody who has a message. And that's where the conscious light bulb went off for me, man. And we've been perfecting that system, tens of thousands of stages, tens of millions of dollars for our customers the last 17 years, man.
It's amazing. So guys, if this is impacting you, if you love this, comment down below, let us know your thoughts. And then also, as I said, he has a free 4-part video series you can get of how to actually get on stages and used to charge thousands of dollars for it. And now he's giving it out for free over the next few weeks. So if you comment the word stage down below, STAGE, comment it down below, I'll send you a message directly to your Facebook Messenger inbox with the private link so that you can do that, but you got to check your Facebook after. But just real quick, in a 1-minute summarization, like what will they get from this video series?
Yeah, so it's a workshop. It's actually a workshop this is the first time it's being rolled out. It used to be a product of ours, but we are going to help them get clear on that message that's in them. We're going to get it out of them first and get them clear. So we're going to get their message out of them and then get them confident with designing one incredible talk for them, because one talk becomes the greatest marketing tool in your business. And so that's the first part, is that we're going to get them really clear. Then we're going to show them all of the stages that exist. And I'm going to show them exactly how to win those stages. And then I'm going to give them a guide of thousands of stages that we've already done all the research for them. And then we're going to show them how to actually attract customers from those stages. And so that's the video workshop. But then on November 3rd, we're doing a live training. There will be no replays. And we're going to bring the whole system together and really break it down. We will have thousands of people from all across the world on that. And so once I get them dialed in, no pun intended here, everybody, then I'm going to introduce them on a live stream to 30 meeting planners who control thousands of stages across the world. And I'm going to let them get inside these meeting planners' minds and understand what it takes to win those stages. Awesome. I get called the matchmaker to great messengers and great meeting planners. And so on this live stream, I'm not only going to let you get inside their head, we're going to be giving away lots of stages, including a TEDx stage and a couple of huge stages that are making announcements of students of ours that they're extending offers to live that night. And so
amazing.
that's all part of the free workshop series, bro. Listen, we love and want and desire people to work with us, Rob, as customers, but not before we give them and blow their minds away and say, like, wow, if that was free, what is working with this company?
For sure.
So that's why this workshop series exists, is just to be able to give you so much stuff.
I love it. So if you guys want to get that workshop series, comment the word stage down below. Check your Facebook Messenger inbox immediately after. Pete, appreciate you being here, giving some love to the people.
Yeah, thanks to everybody for being here live and watching this, and
thanks,
appreciate
everybody.
you guys.
Have a great day, everyone.